I'm having a struggle now, like into concepts, which are like to travel and to be a tourist. To be a tourist has like a very static points. You know, maybe just to move from space to space. But to travel is to change. And to travel is not important the goal or the place where you go, but the process and the moment. The most of my work has been developed researching about time. Will, time, and energy. And I discovered that time is at the same time objective, but at the same time is subjective. The closest thing I have to measure this time and to know that this time has happened is my body. So I went to a prison because time happens really very slow in the prison. It's slow, 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 slow. So I went to a prison and I proposed to the prisoners one thing. The thing is that I would do whatever they asked me to do outside of the prison. In exchange that at the same time they had to do whatever I asked them to do. And for example, this guy asked me to visit his mother in order to celebrate her birthday. In exchange, I asked him to search for each one of his scars. And he had to put next to each scar how each scar was made. I was interested in the scar as a metaphor of the instant, which separates the future and the past. This guy, for example, asked me to hug his relatives and to shake hands to all his neighbors. In exchange, there was this game, basketball game, and this guy is a poet. And asked him to make a chronic of this basketball game. This guy asked me to serenade his mother. In exchange, I asked him to imagine that he was in the center of this drawing and he had to draw all the sounds he could find to the 360 degrees. This guy asked me to apologize to his ex-wife. At the same time, he had to collect one fingernail of each one of his cellmates. He could stop whenever he wants, but he had to know that we were connected. So when he stops, I stop. So there was never this like objective equivalence. So it was never 1 hour for 1 hour, or sometimes it was 5 minutes for 1 week. I didn't know if I shall call them pieces of art. I would say that this was a research about how to represent time. This time cannot be measured like as a quantity, but it still exists. I always think that the documentation of time can only happen really in your body, because it's the thing that you have the closer to you. So I was trying to make it. It's gonna sound very nasty, but I was thinking in my nails. So the time I'm trying to measure the time. When I arrived here, I decided that I wouldn't cut them. So for making for beginning this documentation, I was thinking in the hand, which is to make. So I began to make like let's say like a personal introspective diary. At the same time, that something is changed. I'm still trying to digest a lot of things. From, for example, when I was in Falkenberg, I remember like this chair. It was a very old chair. It was made by Ulf Olof. And I remember the anecdote that when he was like a child, he was like dreaming that he wanted to see Mexico. And so after like many years, he made this. So it was kind of, it was hard to see this because it was like a match about what's happening in Mexico now. I don't know if you know. We have had in 8 years 120,000 assassinations. And now, on top of that, like in September 27, they were kidnapped. 43 students, and they were kidnapped, and 3 of them were like brutally assassinated. And everybody's shocked. So when I found this chair, and when I thought about what's happening, it was like a very strange and nice synchronicity between the two things. So what I wanted to do, but sadly I couldn't, was to have like the point of view, to try to maybe to put a camera from the point of view of the chair to see like the scene. That was the thing. But yeah, as I said, there are like many things that I'm trying to connect with myself, and that was one of the strongest I was thinking about. As I was telling you, for me to travel is like to make this journey with yourself. To make like a dialogue.